Okay, welcome to Into the Legit Darkness. I'm Reeni. I'm just waiting on Brett right now. Wherever he is, there you are, Brett.
Hi.
Yay. Hey. So we are actually going to talk about Chris Watts and then Scott Peterson, but we're going to start out with Chris Watts, and then we're going to actually talk about like the similarities in the case. And then Brett has an announcement to make, but he won't tell me what it is because
Yeah. We're going to do Chris first.
yeah, Chris first.
Okay. Well, Chris Watts was an interesting guy. I mean, this guy, he had everything. He had a $400,000 house, and obviously he had a really good job in oil, and a beautiful wife, two beautiful girls, little girls, another child on the way. They were hoping it would be a boy. Um, and the I guess the whole thing kicked off with him was his wife went back to North Carolina to visit with family and stuff like that for
Yeah, but when she
6 weeks.
came but when she came back, she was actually only just on a trip, like um a work trip eventually came back. But I guess what led up to all of that, from what I'm understanding, is they were having marital problems.
Well, no, I mean it was like every marriage, but no, not really. They
Every
weren't having
marriage?
that bad of marital problems.
Okay, but Brett, I mean, like, let's face facts here, though. Like, you want to talk about marital problems? Who like flies away for what, like 6 weeks with their kids, and then just starts like texting? But she's also texting her friends, like talking about the fact that he won't sleep with her. I mean, that for lack of better terms, okay. Um, and so on and so forth. And she's talking to her friends about this as well, and that in itself is just crazy. But
Well,
why
I
would
mean,
you leave your husband
he,
for
he
six
didn't he didn't get
weeks?
he didn't get a girlfriend until she went on that trip. That's when he ended up.
I know
But
it's always about the
that's
girlfriend.
he got he started actually hitting on a girl at work. And then obviously he told her, I'm going through a crazy divorce and blah 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 and everything. But he did not have a girlfriend until she left for that 6 weeks to go to North Carolina. So they really, they your basic marital problems. I mean, everybody's
I don't think that the basic marital problems is to go and then just get a girlfriend.
like,
Like, I don't think that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's like a marital issue. Like, you know what? You're gone for like 6 weeks, so I'm just bored and I'm gonna go get a girlfriend. I don't
oh
think
yeah, you're probably
I don't
right
think
on
that's how
that.
that works.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
anyway, he started seeing that girl on a regular basis, and yeah, and then he, doing your basic stuff. He cut his wife off in the middle of a conversation to hang up on her on the phone, and all this crazy crap, and yeah, and then when she got back, she flew back and tried to talk to her. That's when she found out he had that girlfriend, and then of course she
The whole world found out he had the girlfriend.
but
Okay.
yeah, but anyway, that's when she started threatening with child support and all. I mean, taking the girls away from him and all this stuff. And she, the interesting thing is he grabbed her by the throat and strangled her, and she did not fight back because she didn't actually. The whole time she thought he would let go because she
Okay.
didn't actually think she would straight. He was, he would actually strangle her to death.
Yeah, but at first
Then,
he gave her Vicodin to
huh?
see if at first he gave her Vicodin.
No, he didn't give her Vicodin.
Yes, he did. He gave her Vicodin.
I didn't remember. I don't remember seeing that.
Yep. I watched this thing today, okay, because I know that there was we had a little bit of a discussion about one of the girls, one of his little girls, which we'll get to in a second. And I do know that you said to me, I'm not sure which one it was. So when I went ahead, and this was I don't know, like coming from him, he's like, I gave her Vicodin. Like, I don't know how he gave her Vicodin. I don't think he just like shoved it in her mouth. That's not what
Well,
I'm
I mean,
saying.
Vicodin is not going to do nothing but except
Well,
be a painkiller. I mean,
yeah, but
he
maybe
would have given her like probably damn near close to 10 of them for him to do anything. So I mean, I don't know what the Vicodin. I don't know what he would have. I don't know what he would.
maybe he crushed it up, put it in her drink. I have no idea. Okay,
What's
I
it
don't know.
gonna do? It's not fentanyl. It's a mild painkiller. It's not like
It's a
fentanyl
mild one. It's okay.
or Oxycontin.
No, I'm just saying, like he did. He tried to give it to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no,
Then,
I believe you. I don't remember seeing that part.
well, because here's where the issue lies. When it came time for when she was gone. Okay, let's kind of back it up a little bit. When she went missing, he was at work. Okay, he was at work. Um, but like he gets a call because obviously like the girls still have stuff there, the cell phone's still there, the car still in, I'm assuming in the garage, maybe, I don't know, because she didn't show up for work, they couldn't get a hold of her, blah blah blah. But mind you, the next door neighbor had a camera because remember he backed his truck into the garage, but it didn't
Well,
all fit in there.
yeah, not all the way into the garage.
Right, but he got some of it. And then
Yeah,
he's like, I was just putting my tools in there and then stuff that I needed for like the next day for work.
yeah.
Okay, randomly at I can't remember what time of the morning it was, so don't quote me on that, but it was like a weird time in the morning. And I know that the cop, Chris, went over to the neighbor's house and they said, okay, well, this is the footage that I have. Chris went back to do something, and I remember seeing the footage of the cop and the neighbor said, that just doesn't seem right. Somebody that just can't find their kids or their wife, their pregnant wife on top of it, their
Yeah.
pregnant wife, they're just gone. So then he's doing these interviews, right? Like, I want my wife back. I want my kids back. But if you notice, he's smiling during like this news thing. Like, I just want him back. And he's smiling about it. And I'm like, that's not even a time to smile at the end of the day. I mean, unless you're just leaping for joy, at this point. You know what I mean?
So,
but this is where I thought it got funny. All right.
Reeni,
Yeah.
I unfortunately got a new puppy and it's a Doberman Pinscher, and I just heard something crash upstairs. So excuse me for 1 second.
That's fine. So what I was going to say was that when they did the interview with Chris, they were going to give him a lie detector test. Now, if you're going to have a lie detector test, if you know that you did it, why even bother? Because they did tell him from the beginning that.
Okay,
sorry, we're talking about the lie detector test. I just said if they gave him a lie detector test, they did tell him.
Man, you jumped too far ahead.
No, I know, but I tried to backtrack just a little bit though. But they gave him this lie detector test, and this is what I really wanted to get out. If you're going to take a lie detector test, at least you can't. Brett, you and I both know he was never going to pass from the beginning.
People think they can sit there and go oomba, oomba, oom, and control their body, and not very many people can do that.
Okay.
It takes a lot of practice.
So they did ask him about the girlfriend, right? Because it's always about the girlfriend. Because at this point, Shanann is missing, Cece's missing, Bella's missing. They're all three missing. And he's claiming when his dad walked in, oh, I just killed her because she killed the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that wasn't really the case. It's not a laughing matter. It's just stupid at the fact that like You were gonna try to
Well, you know
like
when her best friend was looking for her the next morning because she didn't show up in a medical appointment and didn't show up for something else. I don't remember what it was. She, they called the police and they couldn't enter the house and they were waiting for Chris and stuff. And I mean, my God, I like one of the points that he tried to pawn it off like he didn't do nothing is he took his wife's wedding band off and put it on the nightstand. And then he brought the wedding band out to show it to the cops to make it sound like, well, she just left me. It took the kids. that failed miserably. And then he hid her cell phone in the cushions in the couch.
well, here's the thing: the lies that he was telling.
Oh, I know.
Okay, and none of it made any sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, well, where are these? Where are they? Okay, so I'm gonna let you go ahead, Brett, and you tell them where they were
Oh
actually
yeah.
found.
I mean, yeah. After they went through the house and everything, I think it was only like what 2 or 3 days of them searching that they ended up pinning it all on him, and they knew it was him and everything. Because stuff that just didn't add up, like when the cop went next door and that to look at the video footage of the of that night, and and that guy goes, something's not right to the cop. He says, I've lived here as long as he has, and he's never been this this talkative and everything else.
But Brett, I mean, here's the thing though, with that whole situation. How are you going to give an interview and you're going to like laugh, like you're going to smirk about it? Your wife and your children are gone.
Oh, I'd be flipping. He was just too damn calm. I would have been ecstatic, man. Especially, my wife.
You're going to be ecstatic when your wife and your kids are
But
gone.
my
I totally
kids,
get it.
absolutely, man. I would not rest. I would not sleep until I found my damn
Okay,
kids.
okay, but we have to remember that everybody shows emotion differently.
Yeah.
Okay. But I feel like if you're going to give an interview, like don't smirk about it. Okay. Like
Oh
you
no.
got this cockiness to you. Like, I know, but I'm not going to tell you type of thing. And I think that was just it. And the way that he rocked back and forth, I was like, just chill, bro. You're going to be all right. Like, just
Yeah. Yeah. He just. Well, I mean, yeah. I just. If like I said, if that was me, I wouldn't rest until I found my kids.
mm-mm.
So and my wife, but my kids would be my number one priority. So I hate to say it, but it would be.
Not my wife, but definitely my children.
Yeah, but and then uh, what the hell else did he do? Oh yeah, at the police station, he like you said. Oh yeah, the thing that caught me the worst is when he was killing his kids. His little girl sat there and goes, "No, Daddy." I
I remember
wouldn't have
because
been able to go through it. I would have been like, "Oh man."
because from what I'm understanding, didn't he smother Shanann? If that's what I was remembering correctly.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, he by no means had anything planned out. I think I don't think he actually planned on killing his wife. I think after she went limp in his hands from him choking her, I think he just kind of freaked.
Oh, come on. He had plans to kill his wife.
Oh yeah, well
This wasn't just like a spur of the moment thing. Like, you know what? I just don't want her anymore. I think he's just like, But from what I'm understanding, this wasn't his first attempt to try to kill his family. I don't know if he couldn't go through with it. I was reading something on that today.
oh really?
Yeah, like it wasn't his first attempt, and the reason being
Then
is,
he's a horrible planner.
I mean,
I would have lost the Lexus SUV in the garage. I would have lost the cell phone. I would have lost the wedding band.
yeah, but here's the thing: the truth of the matter is when he met his girlfriend at the work site, he didn't have a wedding ring on, and
No,
not
he don't
every
remember.
not
He brought his wife's wedding band out.
right. But what I'm saying
It
is,
looked
like
like
when he met the
lefty.
girlfriend at work, he said that he was going through a horrible divorce.
Yeah.
And she's claiming that she didn't even know
Oh,
that
did
he
you
was
see her
touching
face
a mirror.
when she found out about well, on the news about his wife and kids disappearing? His girlfriend found that out, and she was, I think she about she about had a heart attack.
Well, because I seen the interview with her, and like I felt like she wasn't really taking it very seriously. Like you're dating somebody who killed his wife, his pregnant wife, right,
Mm-hmm.
and his two
Very
children.
little girls.
Mm-hmm. And you were just kind of like, oh, okay, like a okay, like she
Yeah,
was just like that dumb. Like I'm dead serious. Like I felt like she was that dumb. Like
yeah.
in a way, I feel like and this is just me, so don't. It's just my opinion. I feel like she could have had something to do with it though too. Like I think she
The
knew that he
girl?
was the girlfriend. Yes,
No.
I'll tell you. Yes, I think she did because the way that she played it off. Okay, I'm dead serious. The way that she played it off in that interview, it's just like she was just too flighty. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion. But let's get down to the murders at the end of the day.
Yeah. I
So,
I I I don't know. I what I watched what I when I mean she just looked too shocked. It
are
was
you
like
talking to? But
it was
no, we're
it,
not.
me. It was more. It looked. She looked like she was like, oh my god, this guy had the. He actually did this. He
Wait,
had the capability of killing his wife and kids. You know, and I'm dating him. That's kind of what I would have looked at. That's
but that's not how she looked at it,
oh,
though. I
yeah,
don't. That's the interview that I got, and that's just what I got from her. It's just kind of like whatever.
yeah.
Just kind of one of those things. Like, oh, he was such a nice guy. I didn't even know he had kids when we like
But
first started dating, and then
yeah, but
and then
anyway, like you said, with that when that guy showed the video, you know, he backed his truck up. You know, he backed up. I don't know, like the so that the bed was in the garage. You know, and then he threw his wife and kids in there, and then took them out to the oil fields, and he buried his wife in a pretty shallow grave that would have they would have found that probably not very long. You know, because animals would have undug that real easy and spread that all over the place. And then what kills me is he dumped his girls in the big oil tanks.
yeah, but they were still alive after he still had them alive when he took them there.
Oh, I thought he smothered them.
Yeah, in the car.
So, but yeah,
Yeah. So they were alive when he took them out there
yeah,
and then dumped them in the oil tanks like one by one. Like the oldest,
mhm,
and I believe her name was Bella. She said no, daddy, no, something on that order. And he
yeah.
said to this day, like, because I
It,
watched an interview, but yeah, here's the thing, he's got so many lies, so we don't even know what's true and what's not, and he's not going to be honest.
well, you know what? And when the police went up there to retain the bodies, part of her coat was on the hatch because the hatch to get in there it was really small, so he actually kind of had to shove his kids down in there.
But that's the weird thing. Like, why they're your children,
uh,
okay? And I'm not condoning like killing your significant other. Okay. I'm not saying that you should do that at all. Like killing is just bad, period. But your children, okay? Like out of all the people in the world, your children.
yeah, I couldn't. Yeah,
I mean, how do you have the balls to do it? Like your children.
I'm surprised he hasn't died in prison yet because man, I tell you what, a lot of those hardcore prisoners, man, you know, you don't want to be a pedophile and be in prison, and I don't think you want to be a child killer and be in prison.
You're right.
So
So, but we're gonna jump to um, Scott Peterson really quickly, and then we're
okay,
gonna talk about the similarities between the two, and we all know what those similarities are
yeah,
there. But I have my own opinion on Scott Peterson, and you may beg to differ on that. And I know some people may beg to differ on it, but I don't think he did it. So that's that. But I'll tell you why. Okay.
It's been a long time since I've heard that one.
What? I don't think you did it, and I'll tell you why. Okay. So we all probably, some of us probably don't remember, but Scott Peterson, Lacey Peterson, they were going to have their first baby, right?
Yeah.
How exciting, because well, just exciting, I guess. Now this happened on Christmas Eve, and I think I want to say, and don't quote me on this because I'm about to look it up right now, in 1996.
That's about right.
That's about right. So, anyways, Lacey Peterson supposedly is taking their golden retriever for a walk. Now, mind you, she's what, 8, 9 months pregnant, right?
Yeah, she was up there.
So anyways, story goes on is many people seen her walking her dog. I don't remember her dog's name, so it doesn't really matter, but there's relevance to this dog situation. Scott decides, and mind you, this is Christmas Eve. It's too cold to go golfing, so he decided he was going to go fishing, right? And he has his boat out there. You know, he goes to his office, checks some emails, right? Figures out how to put this thing together that he ordered. Okay. Then he decided he was going to go to the San Francisco Bay Area and then go fishing, whatever. It's Christmas Eve. Lacey's supposed to be getting things ready, for Christmas Day the next day. Well, we have to remember, and I want to throw this out there. Okay. There was a burglary across the street. All right, from their home. You remember that, right, Brett? That burglary.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
I remember that.
So, anyways, story goes on is there's no Lacey, but then there's this dog that is out. Their dog is out, right? Because supposedly she's walking this dog. So the neighbor puts the dog back in the backyard. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right, conveniently. But I guess like the gate was open, so she probably was like, "Oh, okay, well, somebody probably forgot to shut the gates." Anyways, now Lacey is missing. And story goes on is they can't find her. Clearly. So again, there's been many accounts, and this is why I'm telling you, there's been many accounts of people seeing her walking this dog. Well, Scott is out on his boat. Okay.
Mm.
So obviously they call the cops, you're 8 months pregnant, you're missing. Where are you? Correct. There is no evidence that Scott even killed her in that house. If he did it, none whatsoever. None. The only thing
they tried to say they took her out on a boat.
There's no possible way.
So
there's no possible way.
No, that's what I remember. They were trying to put her on the boat, but I don't think they ever were able to.
There wasn't. The only thing that they could come up with was pliers, right? And they had some of her hair in there. So let's face facts. When it comes to something like that, all right. So let's say, for an example, that my husband has all these tools, right? And I could, my hair's all over the place. I shed constantly, right?
Yeah.
So naturally, those pliers may still have my hair on them, correct? That's a possibility. He could have used those pliers for anything, and the boat could have had my hair in it because I could have been on that boat at one point. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right. So,
was he an anchor or anything like that?
Okay, so that's where it got a little sticky for me, though, a little bit. But I'm just telling you, this is just the weird thing. So he had like concrete that he had out that he was gonna, do his driveway, and there he had to use some concrete for something on his boat. I think it was like the anchor or something, but they did prove that it was not the same cement. Okay, but they did find Lizzie in or around the area where she washed up ashore, right? Where
Yeah.
he was boating. Here's the issue. They really only found her torso. And they did. They found her torso. They did not find her head. They still have that was just that they can't find that. So we're
Have
not going to.
found her legs or arms.
I think they did. It was really just the torso that they could, because it was like 4 months, right? But remind you, she was pregnant, so that baby washed up ashore. Connor, he has a name, Connor. He washed up ashore. Okay, so which is odd, but the odd thing is he had tape, like his ears were taped back. So that to me in itself doesn't make any sense.
Well, if he killed them on the boat, all they got to do is spray the hell out of it with that lumina, and that'll if there would be a hell of a lot of blood, especially if he cut the body up.
Okay, right, but there wasn't, because here's the
Yeah.
thing. It wasn't one of those huge boats. Now,
Yeah.
if I were and I seen this thing, and because when I was watching this case and it got really interesting and kind of dug a little deeper, you know me, I'm always crazy like that. If he had all these cements, he cut her up, right? And he put her in cement. We're going to say, for the sake of argument, he would have been like, he would have capsized. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't remember how big the boat was.
It wasn't that big. But see, I think this was just crappy police work from the beginning in California, right? But since it made like national news, everybody was just like, "Oh, he did it." Here's why. He didn't act right. Okay? Well, and again, you cannot tell somebody how they are supposed to act when their significant other goes missing. Okay, let's, for an example, say that my significant other went missing. I don't know if I would cry about it. Maybe I wouldn't cry. I'm not a big crier in the first place. So, because I don't cry, that makes me a horrible person, and then I killed him? I doubt that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it's the girlfriend thing all over again. Amber Fry. They were holding a vigil because remember, she went missing on Christmas Eve. They didn't find any trace of her until, 4 months later. So she sets him up because, they're holding a candlelight visual for Lacey. And he calls Amber. And it's like, oh, I think said he was in London or something on that order. He was at something like that. He was lying.
Mm-hmm.
And then, always about a girlfriend. Always about a girlfriend.
Yeah, he had a girlfriend. I remember
that. Yeah, she wrote a whole book, right? A book on it. But anyways, the story goes on is she's like, well,
I don't understand why these guys that have these family and I don't. She was Lacey was a pretty girl. It's like, why the hell would you cheat on her?
Okay, so they are claiming that he is a sex addict.
Oh, all right, buy a blow up doll.
Okay, but I understand what you're saying, but from what I'm understanding, they found Viagra. They found like this because this is kind of shady. They found Viagra. They found $50,000 in cash in his car, and they found his brother's ID. So, and then he dyed his hair like blondes.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess if you have like that much social media attention, but I'm not really sure why you need 15,000. Okay, that's a little shady. Okay. But he could be going to Mexico. Maybe he needed a break. Okay. I would need a break. But what I'm trying to, because it's not really a laughing matter, but when you really think about it, there's no evidence stating besides the fact that he had a girlfriend that he killed his wife and his unborn child. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
None of it makes any sense. Think about it, Brett. It does not make any sense whatsoever.
No.
Just, I feel like if he was set up, okay? Then you have Lacey, who is like setting him up with like, oh, he's like, oh, were you watching the news? Like you told me that your wife was gone. So she just assumed that like he was he was widowed. She didn't really know. She wasn't watching the news. She didn't, realize that his wife was missing. And so basically she did. She set him up. So really in court, if it wasn't for her, he probably would be a free man right now. To be honest with you, he probably would be.
I think he was one of the very first cases that the United States ever prosecuted him without a body.
No, they found that body. But here's the thing, he went golfing, and then that's when they were following him, and they arrested him but before they even identified, they just found that body, those bodies that, like, her body that day, and they just followed him, and it was like, nope, I'm arresting you because now I can't even guarantee that was her until the autopsy came in, only because she was down in the bay. I mean, if you think about it. But he had tickets. He had he had so many alibis, like, and all this other kind of stuff. So how do you manage besides saying, well, all we found was blood on somebody on their sheets that was washed. Okay, hold up. All right. Let's as women are, okay, let's just say that she had a menstrual cycle many months ago before she got pregnant, and it just happened in the middle of the night, and she got up, she washed it, she couldn't get the blood out. Fine, she puts it back on the bed, it's clean, right? I don't know, that may be their thing. But it's a possibility. I'm just saying this could be a possibility, right? So in all actuality, that's the best you got.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it. I understand. I remember I watched the show with the dude that played Dean the dude that played Superman for a while on the TV show, Dean something, I can't think of his name. Anyway, he played Scott Peterson in the documentary show of
Wasn't that like a Lifetime movie? I just
yeah,
didn't. I
yeah,
didn't watch it. To be
yeah.
quite honest with you, I just didn't
But
watch
it
it.
was pretty good. And like I mean, I didn't know what to think. I would hate to be a homicide cop because that that case would throw me for a loop. I would hate to say it, but I would wonder only for the simple fact that the dude had not only one girlfriend, but man, he had like a little pocketbook of different girls.
Well, and then here's the thing, because they did say that Lacey never went ahead and told her parents, A, about the boat, and then B, about him having affairs, because I guess like he had more than one affair. He had like 3 affairs.
Oh yeah,
right? Like he was a sex addict. At the end of the day, he was. Mm-hmm.
He was a ladies' man.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it. Okay. But naturally, let's think about this. If my significant other was cheating on me and I found out, naturally, I would call my mom in a heartbeat and be like, oh my gosh, guess what's going on? Right?
Yeah.
But unless she just didn't really want to get her parents involved in that situation and she thought that she could handle it.
I don't know. I would just I don't know. I think I would look for the first available attorney and go in and talk to him.
No, that was Amber Fry. Okay. Her dad wanted her to get an attorney for what?
So
to say that you were sleeping with a married man?
Cheating is grounds for a divorce. So
not necessarily.
But
if she wanted to save her marriage, let's think about it. She's pregnant, right? She wanted to save her marriage. Maybe she didn't want to say anything. Maybe that she was a very private person. But we can't I'm not condoning cheating. That is not what I'm condoning by any means. But what people and how if they're going to cheat, okay, I'm just going to say if they're going to cheat, if their significant other is going to forgive them, who are we to say that that's wrong?
Oh, no, you got a point, but I don't know.
I mean, every relationship's different.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I'm only just speculating here. I'm not saying that, I'm out cheating on people or whatever the situation is. I'm just saying that's I mean, I do know that he was a sex addict. He had Viagra. I mean, it, and you're gonna tell me that Amber Fry didn't know he was married?
Who?
The girlfriend, she didn't know he was married?
Oh, see, I don't remember.
Yeah, she was like, I don't like. He said he wasn't married. Okay, okay,
Yeah, see, I don't
okay.
remember.
And then he's like, you didn't watch the news?
So
So, I mean, I'm just saying okay.
yeah,
So, we can take these two cases, right? One, I know a lot of people will say, I believe Scott Peterson killed his wife and his unborn child. And he did actually get the death penalty. But oh, speaking of that, let's back that up real quick. There, when it comes to the jury, there was a little bit of a situation with one of the jurors. It was a lady, so they were going to retry him, but that didn't, I don't think that's going to really happen anytime soon. But I do know that he is not on, he doesn't have the death penalty right now. He just has life in prison. They overturned that.
yeah, I don't agree with that.
Okay, but if he didn't do it, I agree with it.
So
I mean, I'm not a cop, so I mean,
I
there's got to be
don't think
something
they have
else.
evidence to prove it. I just don't think there was enough evidence to prove he did it.
Because I don't think he did it.
I don't know if the guy's guilty or not, but I I don't think there was enough evidence to prove that he did it.
But here's the thing. I think like when the girlfriend, when she came in and she's like, he lied to me. So what else is he lying to me about? Like she made it about her. You know what I mean? I feel like the spotlight was really taken off Lacey when they brought the blonde bimbo in.
Yeah,
Sorry to say that, but I mean, that's just kind of how I felt. Like she was going to make money off of it regardless because she ended up writing a book.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Okay, so we'll say for the sake of arguments, even though I believe, and I'm just saying me personally, you guys can say what you want, whatever, do what you want. I don't think he did it, but for the sake of argument, we'll say that he did do it. Okay.
yeah.
The only two things that I could think of that these two cases, okay, besides the wife killing, kid killing, right,
Yeah,
is the girlfriends.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you got a point. I've never actually.
If you think
I
about
can't
it, the
I
girlfriends.
can't say for sure, but I'm not coming up with a name on top of my head of a woman that actually chopped up a body and did away with it. I
I
I
mean, I'm just saying,
like
like,
a woman that
okay.
did that.
So would you say that men kill when they're if they're cheating on their significant other? Is that what you're saying? That is that what we could come to the conclusion
No,
is?
I'm just saying
I
if
mean, I'm just saying, like,
the
I
girlfriend
might just off
killed
my
the
wife and my children because I want to stay. Why not just get a divorce?
huh?
Why not just get a divorce? Why do you got to kill your wife? Why do you got to kill your kids?
Well, that's what I said. Yeah, I'd get a divorce. It would suck because it'd drain my bank account, but
Okay,
better than going to jail for life.
money aside, okay. Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, there is a little bit of a money issue there when you think about it. I mean, if kids are involved, yes, you're going to end up having to pay child support or whatever. But wouldn't you rather have your children alive than killing your children? And then
Oh yeah.
now the girlfriends are gone. They're
So yeah.
turning on you. They don't like you.
Now that's when you move.
It's when you move. I'm just saying, like that's the only other thing I could think of is the girlfriends. Like you're not gonna live a happy life, after you've murdered people
Well,
with
yeah,
your girlfriends.
no. But I mean, if it's just moving because you had a girlfriend and everything crashed on your marriage and stuff, but yeah, I'd move.
I mean, I'm not gonna kill anybody. I'll just move. It's like I mean, but like I said, there's no evidence that Scott
Yeah,
Peterson
I agree.
murdered his wife. There's none.
I know.
Okay, so if he was set up, which he could have been, She could have been murdered by the guys that were burglarizing the house. We
Yeah.
don't know that. But like I said, the cops never really wanted to interview the rest of the neighbors who've seen her walking the dog. And then everybody's like, well, why would she walk a dog when she was like, ready to have this baby? I don't know. Exercise. I
I'm
mean, it's a dog. I mean, dogs need to be walked. Maybe she just felt that great that she wanted to walk the dog that morning.
I'm told that helps the baby too. So
Well, exactly. Exercise does. And I think it doesn't, his timeline doesn't make sense. I'm like, he stopped at a gas station. He had a ticket from the marina. I mean, he had all of this, like the timestamp. And then, like, he was on his computer. He was at work. I mean, all of this stuff. He has all of this going on for him. But just because he didn't show any emotion, and yes, I'm not saying, and I'm not condoning it. I know that they're holding a vigil for your wife, your missing wife, right, and your unborn child. I don't think you should be calling your girlfriend.
yeah.
Okay, maybe you could have I mean, I'm not saying like let things settle and then maybe call her. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But again, I just don't understand like why, when it comes down to it, when a man kills his wife and kids, there's always, well, did you have an affair? What does that have to do with anything at the end of the day, though? Really, think about it. Really, what does it really have to do with anything? If they're going to murder them, they're not going to get away with it and then live their life with this person that they're seeing.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
agree.
know. That's just kind of how I think. I mean, but I don't know. There's no way in heck he could have murdered his wife. He didn't have the time. Chris Watts had the time.
Did he?
Of course he did. He just backed his truck up in the garage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Watts did. But then you're going to tell me that Scott Peterson had the time? There was no evidence. But then you have Nancy Grace who gets on there, right? She stirs everybody up. And I always feel like when something like big like this happens in the media, like people are so quick to judge. They're like, oh, yes, he did it. He did it. There was no evidence that he even did it. Like his family is trying to get him out of, like, they're claiming that they have other evidence that the cops did not look at to try to get him out of jail. Or prison, not jail. Sorry, prison. But at least the death penalty was overturned. I mean, that's a
I
good
kind
win
of
for
hope
him.
one of his appeals gets answered and he actually gets a fair trial or something.
Well, I think he's going to have it. I just can't. Well, from what I'm understanding, they're not going to do that at this point. But I feel like if you have like a judge who's going to go ahead or not, and then knowing that a juror just kind of lied.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really not a fair trial at the end of the day. But then everybody is like, well, at trial, he showed no emotion. He didn't speak. Well, I don't know how I would, if I was on like, sitting at trial for murder, I don't even know how I would take it. Like,
Yeah.
I think I'd just be like so dazed out that I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, and then you got Lacey's parents up there who are giving interviews after they find out that he's having this affair. And they're like, well, we treated Scott like a son. Okay, again, like Amber Fry took the whole thing away from this whole situation. And that's what I believe. Like, she's so weird. And then things started surfacing about her. I mean, she was just a massage therapist. Not anything wrong with being a massage therapist. It's not what I'm saying. But I don't think she was like a kind of a massage therapist I'm talking about here. You know what I mean? But they used the fact that he was like a sex addict in court, that he was ordering stuff on pay-per-view. I'm not going to say what they were, but he was watching stuff online, the Viagra, the money. You never know. He could probably have been picking up hookers. All right. If you're a sex addict, you're going to naturally find something. All right. But that's the only thing they got on him. Come on. Honestly, think about it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I think it was a bunch of crap.
All right. So, I mean, like I said, there's nothing besides what her hair. And they did say that the dog sniffed her out at the marina,
Yeah.
right? But if okay, again, I'm just saying, just because he had cement in there, it wasn't even the same cement. Like, I just don't know. I think I'm reading into it a little bit too much with that case. I mean, I'm just saying, I think I'm just reading into it. And the girlfriend really irritated me. The blonde irritated me. And she shouldn't have. She really shouldn't have. But then how do you not watch the news? How do you not know that the guy that you're seeing's wife is missing, his
Yeah.
pregnant wife?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
No.
But like I said, at least he didn't back the truck up and put his
Yeah.
head wife in there. I mean, at the end of the day, and then kill his kid. But I'm still kind of concerned about like when they found Connor Scott Peterson,
Yeah.
his baby. Why his ears were pinned back with tape? That makes absolutely no sense. That would just mean that she gave birth, and it's probably somebody whoever did it. Or another theory could be, and this just came to me, maybe he hired somebody to do it.
That could be.
Maybe he hired the burglars across. Okay, that's just speculation. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying, he could have hired the burglars across the street.
You want me to check on her?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So we only have a couple more minutes, and I know you want to say something.
Yeah.
Um,
I
sorry, after I was rambling on and on.
I got a bonus guy. Now, this is a guy. His name is John List, and quite a few years ago, he came home, killed his wife, and then he waited for his two kids to get home from school. They were high school students, junior high to high school students. Killed them, laid them in the got them, took the bodies and laid the bodies in the living room and cranked up the AC, and then got in his car and left. And he got away with it for 2 decades until I don't know if you remember that TV show that came on that ran for a while, America's Most Wanted. You remember that show?
I remember that show.
But he aired about him being a family annihilator, John List. And what he did is he had gotten this forensic guy who took a skull and then put all these little pin marks on there and aged this guy 40 years and made a mold of it, what he would look like 40 years later. And it aired. And this college kid that lived across the street from the guy that resembled that guy called it in. Said, that looks like my neighbor. I don't remember what name he was using in the meantime. But anyway, the cops came in and slowly took pictures of it to check it out and see if this was really John List. And yeah, he ended up getting arrested. It was him,
Whoa.
my God.
Let's
But
back
he got
this
away with
train up real
2
quick.
decades.
So what you're telling me is this guy murdered his wife
And 2 kids.
and his 2 teenage kids, cranked up the AC, and just went about his day?
No, yeah, he took off. He
Where'd
left.
he go?
He left. He went on the other side of the United States. This happened over like in freaking Washington or something.
Okay, but you're gonna
Go
tell
to
me.
Virginia.
I know this is so off topic, and now it's so interesting because now I'm invested.
But yeah,
So wait,
I remember.
what did he do? Like, get a new identity? That's
Yeah,
probably what these people should have
exactly.
done. That's probably what Chris Watts should have done.
Job
Should have got a new identity.
He did the same job trade. He was a baker.
Why? Okay, I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. He was a baker.
He ended up marrying another lady. I can't remember if he had kids with her or not.
Wait, a baker. Out of all the things in the world, a baker.
A banker.
Oh, a banker. I thought you said a baker. I was
He
like,
worked
why
at
didn't?
banks. He ran banks.
No, I thought like when you said baker, and I was like, I
No.
wonder. Like that was like Sweeney Todd came to mind.
Yeah,
I would say banker.
baker. Bank. Yeah. But yeah, he got away with it for 2 decades.
So how did they catch him?
Like I just told you, he America's Most Wanted. They
Right,
aired.
but I'm saying, like, how did they know? Did he like assume, like, did he just like have this whole new identity? Like, people, I mean, you're gonna tell me like there was like no family that was like, oh, like this person's missing.
All I know is they made that replica skull. Made it look like what he would look like today, and a kid knew Mr. List, but under a pseudonym, and he called America's Most Wanted and said, "Man, that looks a lot like my neighbor across the street." And they came in, they took pictures of him, they took it back, they looked it all over, and then they surrounded the house one day and took him in. And sure enough, it was John List, the guy that killed his whole family. Yeah, he was. I don't remember the name he was under, but yeah, he had a whole new life.
Did he have other kids?
I don't remember.
But he
I
got remarried.
should have looked it up and read more about it, but I didn't because
Like,
I thought it was just cool. But no, I don't think he had
cool. You know what?
kids, but I
You
don't.
know, did you, and I know this is like way off topic from what our topics were about tonight. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier and she goes, "Oh my God, Reenie," she goes, "you'll never guess what happened." And I was like, this better not be about her. So she goes, "Have you read about the mom and grandma who let the granddaughter got lice so bad that it actually killed her?"
Lice,
Lice, head
like
lice.
head lice.
Head lice, yes.
Holy shit!
Head lice, yes. I thought, I was like, I thought she was lying. I really did think she was lying till I looked it up. And I was like, how is that even possible? So she, she's a nurse, so she's giving me the lowdown on this. And I was going to look into it a little bit more because I was, too busy looking up some other things on like Scott Peterson. Reason being is like I know his family's really trying really hard to, overturn his conviction. And there's like a whole Facebook group on that if you guys want to, jump in on that. Don't hate in that group. They'll kick you out. Not that I was doing that, okay? But what I'm saying is, yeah, we were talking about it earlier today. And I was like, head lice. I was like, I've never heard that somebody, she goes, yeah, head lice.
Damn.
So, I mean, if you know that your kids got head lice, I mean, definitely treat it. But I guess I just didn't really care. I mean, like I said, the list goes on and on for crimes and these children and why people want to kill children, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Their lives are just starting. And I do know that there is not here in Illinois, but I can't remember what state it is. I do know that you can actually drop a physical baby off in like looks like a mail kind of slot, but it's at the fire station, right? And you put them in there.
Yeah.
Shut it. You cannot open it. And then the alarm sounds in there so they know that there's an actual baby in there. There's actually a whole Facebook group on that. We'll have to figure that out one day what it's called.
Watch on YouTube DWIs, people getting pulled over and getting arrested for drunk driving. And there was this one lady in there that got pulled over, and she reached in to grab her kid to bring it out, and she brings the kid out of the car and drops it. Dropped her kid right in front of the cops. Right on the bed. I was like, damn, you really want to kill your kid, don't you?
But that's the weird thing. It's like, why your kids? Why your kids?
Yeah, I was like, wow. And here's got 3 more kids in the back seat.
But that's the thing. They're just little kids. They didn't ask to be here. Okay.
Yeah, this was a baby. I mean, it couldn't have been 6 months, maybe a year at the most. Dropped it right on the road.
I mean, like I said, the world has gone just crazy. And the amount of like cases that you can go on and on and on and on and on with kids.
I know.
It's the weirdest thing because I know, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. Like I said, there's times when my kids irritate me so bad, I'm like, I'm gonna drop you off at the fire station. But they know where I live, unfortunately, and they have my cell number.
Get an
So
ultra big basket and put it, leave them at the church door.
no, because they know where I live. Know my phone number. I'm just joking. I love my children, but there's days, but I mean, I would never, in my right mind, if I didn't think that I could take care of my children, I would give them to, one of my family members. I wouldn't just go off and kill somebody,
My
especially your children.
my daughter's going nuts right now because she's doing her last semester of college and she'll have her bachelor's, but she's also working part time at Lowe's and she's feeling the crunch right now because she drives all the way to Bloomington to go to for her last semester, and I know it's a long haul and stuff, but she's like, wow, she's not liking it. I'm like, babe, I go, you only got 3 more months left.
Well, tell her to be careful in Bloomington. Just
Huh?
saying. Tell her to be careful in Bloomington.
Oh, she is. She's got a
There's a lot of weird things
she's
going
got
on in
a
Bloomington, by the way.
flashlight that if somebody not nice comes up, she touches another little button, zap. And let me tell you, it will put your ass on the floor.
Well, the other day I was going through my glove compartment, right, trying to find my sunglasses, my favorite sunglasses, and I didn't realize that I had mace in there. And I was like, I don't ever remember putting that in there. And I was like, I live in a small town. Who am I gonna mace? I know I shouldn't, but I was like, I don't remember where I got it, how I got it, and why it's in there. I don't even know if it has an expiration date, but it doesn't matter. But we better wrap it up. This has been
All right.
great since we rambled on about all kinds
Well,
of
it's been
stuff
fun.
tonight. I know it has been. I'll talk to you guys later. It was nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, you take care.
You too. Bye bye.